I get that point. Now, Assemblyman Floyd,
yeah.
Let's come back to the basic question, because I want to give you a chance to state it in the clear. A lot of people get hurt in the ring, right?
Yes. Yes, that's right. They do in roller derby and professional football, too. We don't license them and sanction.
Well, in fact, in professional football, the football players have to pass a physical, and if they don't, they can't play.
No, that's a league rule. That's not a state rule.
I'm not at all clear why, though, you're saying that professional wrestlers ought to have less protection than, say, people who work in carnivals, which are regulated by states.
True. No. They're not regulated by. There's no licensing of carny people anywhere that I know of. Now, you know, what we're talking about, and he's talking about, do you lose the gate or something? Of course not. It's just like going to the movies. Now, when Albano was wrestling, I was doing a little gig called Korea. But I know when I watch a war movie, those guys ain't dying, they ain't being killed, they're not being really hurt, and that's the same way with wrestling. But we shouldn't sanction that.
Because you've never been in the ring yourself, Senator, and you don't know. You're not an athlete. So don't try to criticize people that are athletes.
In fact,
no, nobody's criticizing your athletic ability. I wouldn't even criticize your use of your mouth, because you do that very well.
Well, you do a pretty good job. That's why you've perhaps won office
Guess what, folks? Guess what, Assemblyman? Guess what, Captain Lou? This version of the Lincoln-Douglas debates must pause for another break, but for some unearthly reason, we're going to continue this conversation in a moment. Continuing our conversation now with Captain Lou Albano, Dick Floyd, and Frank DeFord. Frank, quickly, granted that it may be benign, a form of entertainment, is there something bothersome about sports announcers who put wrestling highlights in their sports package and pretend it's a sport?
No, I think it's amusement. I think when the Harlem Globetrotters come to town and the Harlem Globetrotters win thousands of games in a row, they're included. So I think that's perfectly appropriate.
All right. Captain Lou, very quickly, are you wrestlers going to try to fight this attempt actively to keep yourselves regulated by states around the country?
I believe that every wrestler should get behind it. There should be a commission because they're very protective of the boys. They protect our careers and what we do for a living. And there are alliances, again, as I said, that are getting back to the real wrestling. So whatever the WWF says may be only for themselves, but not wrestling as an overall package. They are great athletes, and they need the protection that they can get.
All right, Assemblyman Floyd, last word is yours. What's the benefit of deregulating the sport? What's the point of it? Who benefits?
The only benefit is that the state is not involved in a charade for something only for the money. If we're going to regulate, we're going to license, then we have to license that wrestling referee, and he has to be in charge. The guy throws out of the ring, he's disqualified.
Well, then do it.
Well, the guy was grabbing the back of Albano's trunks in the old days, and the referee was always looking the wrong way, distracted.
Well, then
so, come on, it's a game, and it's a great game. I hope it continues, but I don't think the state ought to participate just for the money. We're not providing anything there.
Gentlemen, we actually do have to go. That is our report for tonight.
Fantastic.
I am Jeff Greenfield in Washington. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
This has been ABC News Nightline. If you wish a printed transcript of this or any Nightline broadcast, please send $3 to Nightline Transcripts, 267 Broadway, New York, New York, 10007.
This has been a presentation of ABC News, where more Americans get their news than from any other source.